Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're working on that WA again, John Deere. And I wanted to show you something. I'm reassembling this just kind of as a mock-up. And also it helps me keep the engine clean. I've been having it taped up. But now that I've got that piece on, I'm just setting everything back together. And that way I can grind and finish stuff off without having nothing in the way. There's only 2 bolts holding this on. 2 bolts holding this on. I'm not even going to bolt this on, but I am going to put the hub on just to show you something. There's a short spline right here, and there's no mark goes with it because you don't need a mark that goes with it, but I wanted to show you down here. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see that there's rust on the end of this spline right here. This is the one that was on that short spline. All the rest of them went right out to the end. So, yeah, it's this one right here is where it was. This right here is the one that's supposed to be on the short spline. It's always marked with a V. So somebody didn't put this together right, so I'm sure that it vibrated a lot. And, you know, I noticed there's a lot of wear on the governor. Stuff that would normally, you know, vibrate and shake, it's showing a lot of wear. Internally, I don't think there's nothing that got, you know, damaged by it. But that V right there will go if you do it right. I probably can't do this one-handed. We'll see here. That should go. Yeah. It's gonna take 2 hands, I can tell. You can see, here's the V. Get the camera to focus. Or get it so I can see it, I gotta tap it. Yeah, short spline, get the V. And that has a lot to do with your counterbalance. You can see one side's a lot heavier. They will vibrate like a son of a gun if that's off. So, anyway, just a little thing I noticed that was wrong on this. There is a pin and a spline that matches the pin on the other side, which that has to be right if the pin is there. But sometimes they take them pins out if they don't know what they're doing. This one happened to be right on the flywheel side, wrong on the clutch side. But anyway, yeah, just a little tidbit. I'm gonna go back. I've actually been picking up tools here. That's what I'm actually doing. Yeah, I just went out, you know, for the next ease of the next time, I did a little center drill in it. Just to make it a little easier with a puller. Stuff like that. I like to do stuff like that when I'm doing it. I'm going to put the washer on and just finger tight it. I'm not even going to put the impact to it. Because like I say, this is just something to hold stuff together. Keep things clean. Anyway, I'll bring you back here when I get actually something else finished on this thing. Show you what I've done. Well, that's what the assembly looks like. All back together. No clutches in it or nothing. I've just got it. It's set on there. You can loosen this right out and pull that right off. But I got it on there just basically for when I do the rest of the grinding. I don't want any more shit to go in. I've had it taped up all that time. And the other thing I got to do is make a place for the clutch lever to mount. I don't know as I'm going to put it on here because I don't have any more bolts holding back here, and I've lost my dowel that was back on this end. So I may actually bolt it right to these 3. Take a piece of 1/2-inch plate and run it out here. I think that would be plenty strength enough. And then I can put my piece right out here on the flat. And I'll actually make a new one of these, you know, mountain pieces. I can make a facsimile of that to that in steel. And yeah. So that's probably one of the next things I'm going to do other than work on getting this thing on skids. Don't know as I'm going to work on it tomorrow. I think if it's a good day, I am either going to work with Carol out in the greenhouses or I'm going to work up here on the shingles. Not sure which, but it'll be too good of a day, I think, to work down here. I might dub around a little bit in the morning, but, you know, we'll see. But anyway, I haven't done really too much on it today other than, as you can see, I've cleaned up. I got to the point I couldn't do nothing. So And I got a quick story. I'm using this shovel. That's the longest tool that I've owned as far as, you know, outside rakes, shovels, and whatnot. The winter of 1984. I can date this one because it was the year I got married. Yeah, the winter I got married. I was going down, we was living in Baldwin. I was logging somewhere over to Naples, or I was going to my father's. I'm not sure what I was doing. But anyway, I'm driving along down Long Hill Road, and there used to be a shortcut road, only cut off a couple, 300 yards, but, you know, I was going to take it like most people would. And I think I was in a 1970 Chevy, as I recall, pickup, one of them K10s. And I'm starting to go over towards the other side of the road, and all of a sudden this young buck comes up around with a four-wheel drive, got it right in the cart, snowing out. And anyway, he was fishtailing right over into my lane. The only thing I could do to not hit him was go into the snowbank. So, whoof, into the snowbank I go. Of course, I said a lot of stuff I can't say on the YouTube channel here, but I called him every name in the book. I get out, look the situation all over, lock the hubs in. You know, I couldn't move it. It was in the actual snowbank. They're just like cement in the wintertime. So, Fitch's store was right down the road, about 600 feet. I walked down there, and I think at the time I paid, $22 for that. Pretty sure that's what that shovel cost. Which, people back then was only making like $5 an hour, $6 an hour. So it was a good bit of change. And I grumbled a lot. I was logging at the time and doing other stuff. I paid my money. I went back, started shoveling. I hadn't shoveled for probably 10 minutes. And I had a lot more shoveling to do because the only way I was going to get out was go downhill. Because where I went off the road, it was probably a, I don't know, 15, 20% grade, something. All of a sudden, a town truck, Abe Parker, comes up over the hill. He stops and he says, "You're in a fix, aren't you, boy?" And I says, "Yeah." I said, "I got a lot of shoveling ahead of me." And he said, of course, nowadays, Abe won't even touch you with a chain, you know, afraid of liability. But back then, everybody knew everybody. And old Abe there, he threw me a chain, says, "Lay down there and hook her up." He said, "And hook at the wing." He said, "And I'll give you a little tug." Shit, he pulled me back out of there, and I threw the shovel in the back of the truck. Off I went. And this shovel, it's loose, you know, got some chrome moly reinforced handles, you know, and it's worse for wear. But it survived all these years, which is a miracle, because me and my wife, after we got married, I had moved 13 times. Well, it would have been 12 times from when I bought this shovel till we landed here. I moved all over. And till I met my wife, and then it was like I moved to Mass down there with her, and then I moved up here. Yeah, so anyway, I then he saw 12 moves and didn't get lost amongst all the crap. Kind of a funny story. But anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you on the next one.